Imagine stepping into a place unlike any other, really, nestled deep inside a World Heritage National Park in Australia.
Right. A place so unique, it doesn't just border the park, it's sort of interwoven with it.
Yeah, exactly. And it boasts its very own natural waterfall on the property itself.
And get this, that waterfall doesn't just stay there.
No.
It feeds directly into a famous cascade just outside its borders, right there in the national park.
It almost sounds made up, doesn't it? And that's exactly what we're exploring today. We're taking a deep dive into an extraordinary property currently for sale in Springbrook, Queensland. It's known as the English Country Gardens Estate.
And what makes this particular deep dive so fascinating is the challenge it presents. This is not your typical real estate listing.
Not at all. We heard from seasoned property experts who find it incredibly difficult to put a standard price on it.
Right. One source described it using a term you don't often hear, uncarative.
Uncarative.
Yeah.
Meaning?
Meaning, essentially, without comparison. There's nothing else quite like it to compare it to for value.
Okay, so how do you even begin to understand something that, well, defies standard definition?
Well, we've gathered insights from a really interesting mix of sources. We have the beautiful descriptions from tourist brochures for the area, for instance.
Okay.
Then there's the property's own website, which tells its story. And we even looked at info from conversations with the current owners.
Oh, wow. Direct from the owners.
Yeah. They've been the custodians of this unique estate for over 3 decades, 30 years, and are now looking to retire.
That range of perspectives is key then, because it's not just about, the bricks and mortar or the land size.
Exactly. It's about history, nature, the business side, and potential all wrapped up together.
So our mission today is to unpack all these incredible layers, the natural wonders, the rich history, the existing business, the vast potential to truly grasp why this place is considered uncarative.
And why traditional valuation methods just don't seem to fit.
Right. Let's jump in and see what makes this property so profoundly unique.
Okay, so the first thing that truly sets this property apart is its location.
Yeah.
We're talking about being situated squarely within the stunning World Heritage-listed Springbrook National Park in Queensland.
Within it, not just next to it.
Correct. Within the park boundaries. That in itself is incredibly rare.
Definitely.
And it's important to acknowledge it's located on the traditional lands of the Yugambeh people.
Ah, right. That adds a significant layer, doesn't it? Cultural and historical depth.
Absolutely. And we're high up here too, altitude-wise,
Yeah.
around 850 to 900 meters above sea level.
Giving it that distinct mountain climate and feel.
Exactly. But the defining feature, the part that really makes you pause, is the natural asset contained within the property boundary.
Go on.
It has its own natural waterfall and 2 creeks right there on the 6 acres.
Hold on. So you mean this private property actually contains a natural waterfall and creeks, not just next to them, but on the land?
Precisely, on the land. And this is where it gets really mind-bending.
Okay.
These creeks merge, and then they flow directly out of the property.
Oh, yeah.
And they are the literal source, the beginning of the famous Gumulara Falls in the national park.
You mean the Gumulara Falls? That huge, spectacular 190-meter cascade everyone goes to see.
That's the one. Its source is on this private property.
Wow. So you are saying the source, the very beginning of a major waterfall that's a highlight within a World Heritage National Park, is actually on private land. That feels exceptionally rare.
It is. Maybe even unprecedented.
How on earth do you even begin to put a price on something like that?
Well, that's precisely the challenge, isn't it? Owning the literal source of a national park waterfall on private land is almost unheard of.
Right.
It's a natural asset that is, by definition, irreplaceable. It immediately breaks the mold of standard property valuation.
Because there's just no comparable sale for something like that.
Exactly. There's no comp for a private property containing the source of a national park waterfall. It's an intrinsic, almost unquantifiable value tied to the land itself.
Okay, so the waterfall is the star. But you mentioned views, too.
Yes, and while the waterfall is the star natural feature, the views are also extraordinary. Sources mention a short, 2-minute walk from the property.
Yeah.
And you get these breathtaking panoramic views stretching all the way out to the Gold Coast and Surfer's Paradise.
So you have this incredible juxtaposition about the intimate, lush rainforest and waterfall on the property, and just moments away, these huge, expansive coastal views stretching to the horizon.
It's a really powerful blend of landscapes.
Yeah.
Very unique.
Okay, moving from the jaw-dropping natural setting,
Okay.
let's explore the history and the existing charm of the estate itself.
Right. So the estate spans 6 acres, which is about 2.373 hectares.
Okay.
And it has a really interesting history dating back decades.
How far back?
We learned from the sources that it was originally established way back in 1946.
Wow, just after the war.
Yeah. It was started by a Scottish engineer who, after serving during WWII, basically decided this incredible location was where he wanted to make his home and build something special.
A familiar story for that era, finding paradise after the war.
Indeed. And the current owners, they're the 7th custodians of the property.
7th, okay.
And they've been there for a significant amount of time, a solid 30 years, nurturing it, developing it.
30 years. That long period of stewardship must be really clear in the place itself, especially the gardens.
Absolutely. The sources mention the gardens were established either in 1946 or maybe 1952. Either way, we're talking, 70, 80 years of development?
A long time. So what are they like?
Well, the gardens occupy about 1/3 of the total land, about 2 acres. And the descriptions paint a lovely picture. Like meandering paths guiding you through the landscape, beautiful stone and timber bridges crossing those creeks we mentioned, arches draped in roses and wisteria, and the design naturally incorporates that on-site waterfall and the pools.
It sounds idyllic, but there's a historical layer here too, right? Something about the plants.
Yes. What's striking is that historical value. One source highlighted that a university professor apparently praised the historical value of some plants within the gardens,
How so?
reportedly suggesting their value as a collection could be around 5 million Australian dollars.
5 million for the plants.
Well, no, to be clear, that's speaking to their historical significance and provenance, as a collection built over decades. It's not a direct market valuation of the property itself.
Got it. But it underscores that this isn't just a pretty garden. It's a significant botanical collection with real historical weight.
Precisely. And beyond the gardens and the main house, there are also existing accommodations and commercial facilities operating there.
Right. Generating income already. What kind of accommodation?
There are 3 historic, self-contained holiday cottages that were also built way back in 1946.
Same time as this start.
Yeah, and they're currently operational, providing an established income stream. The sources even give us their names and sizes.
Oh, yeah.
There's the Garden Retreat, that's a 2-bedroom. The Forest Spa Suite, a 1-bedroom suite. And Green Whispering, another 2-bedroom.
Okay, 3 cottages. Anything else?
And in addition to those, there are 2 additional self-contained guest houses available,
Right.
offering amenities like wood-burning fires, so adding more guest capacity.
So quite a bit of letting potential there. And the commercial side.
Then you have the sort of commercial hub of the estate. There's a tea house or cafe.
Sizable.
Seats about 80 to 100 people. And the sources note it has the potential to operate as a licensed restaurant.
Okay. So potential to upgrade the food and beverage offering significantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which could increase its revenue potential beyond, just being at a tea house.
Makes sense. Anything else commercial?
Yes, the current owner is a master ceramicist, so there's dedicated retail space there too, where they sell their beautiful hand-thrown pottery.
So it's a multifaceted operation already in place? Accommodation, F&B, retail.
And events. They've also successfully hosted events.
Like weddings.
Yeah, the estate is equipped for functions. It's held weddings multiple times, apparently 3 times successfully, and it's capable of accommodating up to 300 people for various events, like music functions.
Leveraging those large lawns and the incredible setting, I imagine.
Definitely. So you've got this established, functioning operation sitting within this unique natural and historical context.
And the owner's residence, where do they live?
It's a comfortable 3-bedroom home with, interestingly, a library or penthouse level. And it's conveniently located directly above the cafe.
Oh, handy. Making that live-in management very practical for running the business.
Exactly. That setup makes a lot of sense for an owner-operator.
Okay, so we've got the incredible, unique location with its irreplaceable natural asset. The deep history reflected in the gardens and historic buildings.
Right.
And existing operational businesses. But what about the future? The untapped potential here seems, well, enormous.
This is where the scale of the opportunity really opens up. Approximately 4 acres of the property.
Which is 2/3 of the total area.
Exactly. That part remains undeveloped. It's currently described as bushland, but importantly, it's zoned for business.
Zoned for business. And is there specific info on what could be built?
Yes, and this isn't just idle land. According to planners and council information cited in the sources, that undeveloped 4 acres allows for up to a staggering 5,000 square meters of accommodation or building development.
5,000 square meters. That's massive.
It really is. To help visualize that, it's roughly the equivalent of covering almost 12 standard basketball courts with buildings.
12 basketball courts. Wow. Okay, that represents substantial potential for future growth and expansion.
Huge potential. And there's even historical backing for this. An older plan, which is now expired, mind you, was actually approved for building 8 additional cottages and an owner's house on that undeveloped land.
So it's not just theoretical. The development capacity has been recognized and planned for before.
Precisely. It shows it's been seen as viable. So the possibilities are wide open.
What kind of possibility?
Well, this land could potentially support a small hotel, maybe a resort, numerous additional holiday cottages, or even, say, a tourist park development.
Dramatically increasing the property's capacity while still preserving the existing gardens and core features, presumably.
That would be the idea, yes. To add value without destroying the existing charm.
And there was something else about flexibility. Street addresses?
Yes. Adding another layer of flexibility, the property boasts 6 independent street addresses.
6? For one property?
Yes, ranging from 2924 to 2934 Springbrook Road.
That's interesting. What does having multiple street addresses like this enable?
It offers enormous flexibility for future strategies, particularly around development or maybe ownership structure.
How so?
You could potentially develop sections independently, perhaps phase projects over time, or it even opens up possibilities for subdivision down the line. Although, obviously, the core natural asset, the waterfall source, is intrinsically linked to the entire parcel. You couldn't really split that off.
Right, understood. So, beyond the property itself, are there any external factors, regional stuff happening?
Yes, and that's a critical piece of the puzzle. There are some potentially significant external tailwinds.
Like what?
Well, there's a long-standing proposal, it's been around a while, to build a cable car system, a gondola, up to Springbrook.
A gondola? Up the mountain?
Yeah. Sources say it's on its 3rd attempt now, so it keeps coming back.
Why now? Is there new momentum?
It seems so. And this project has gained momentum partly because it's become linked to infrastructure planning for the 2032 Brisbane Olympics.
The Olympics connection.
Right. Springbrook is being specifically targeted for enhanced ecotourism development in connection with the Games.
So a gondola, if it actually comes to fruition, that could be a game changer for visitor numbers, couldn't it?
Absolutely. It could dramatically increase visitor numbers to the area, potentially providing a massive boost to this property's tourism and commercial potential.
Bringing people right to the doorstep of the national park where this property sits.
Exactly. And there's tangible evidence suggesting this is moving forward, or at least being seriously considered.
Oh, what evidence?
Reports indicate the local city council has recently purchased land nearby. A 10 million AUD parcel, apparently.
$10 million for what?
Well, the rumor is that it's a potential site for that gondola station.
Interesting. So while it's still speculation, that kind of investment in the immediate vicinity certainly signals serious intent for future infrastructure and development in the area.
It definitely adds another layer of future potential value that isn't reflected in the current market conditions.
Okay, pulling all of this together now, it becomes pretty clear why this property is considered uncaritative and why it's so incredibly difficult to value using standard real estate methods.
It's that unique combination, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have the location itself squarely within a World Heritage National Park.
Check. And that unbelievably rare natural asset, the literal source of a major national park waterfall contained on private land.
Check. Plus the deep history, dating back to 1946, with decades of dedicated stewardship in those gardens.
Yep, and the existing operational businesses, the accommodation, the cafe, retail, event capacity, providing a current income base.
Check again. Add to that the substantial undeveloped potential 4 acres, allowing for up to 5,000 square meters of building, a truly massive scale for future growth.
Right, and the inherent flexibility offered by those 6 independent street addresses.
And finally, the potential future uplift from significant regional infrastructure projects like that rumored Olympic-linked gondola.
There's no other property that brings all of those factors together in one place, is there?
No. Comparative market analysis relies on finding similar properties that have recently sold. Here, there are simply no true comparables.
You can't just search for private property containing the source of a World Heritage National Park waterfall with historical gardens, existing businesses, and massive development potential.
Exactly. It doesn't exist as a category.
So how do valuers even approach something like this then? if comparing sales is out?
It's tough. Do they look at the cost of replacing the structures and gardens? That doesn't capture the natural asset, obviously.
No.
Do they look at the income from the existing business? Well, that doesn't capture the huge development potential or the irreplaceable nature of the location and the waterfall source.
Yeah.
It likely requires a really multifaceted approach. Attempting to value different aspects separately, perhaps an income approach for the current business, maybe a development potential analysis for the undeveloped land.
That's still.
But how do you quantify the value of being the source of that waterfall or the historical significance of the gardens? So much of the value is subjective, isn't it? Tied to that uncarative core and the vision of the next owner.
It really resonates with the owner's own words. We saw a poem on their website.
Ah, yes.
It said something like, you can buy a house, you can buy a cafe restaurant, you can buy a garden, but how can you buy a spring waterfall?
That quote beautifully encapsulates the challenge, doesn't it? It emphasizes that the most unique and potentially most valuable aspect of this property isn't something you can easily price using standard market metrics.
It's perhaps priceless, or its value is entirely dependent on the appreciation and, well, the vision of the buyer.
Exactly. So what we've uncovered is a property that's a truly rare blend.
A blend of stunning natural wonder,
Rich history,
a functional business operation,
vast undeveloped potential.
and it sits right at the cusp of potentially significant regional development.
Yeah. It's completely understandable why traditional valuation methods just fall short here.
How do you accurately price something that is literally the source of a national treasure's main waterfall?
And possesses historical gardens crafted over decades.
Generates current income and offers the canvas for building something potentially huge.
All while regional investment seems to be ramping up.
It's not just about land area or current income. It's about legacy, potential, and the stewardship of an irreplaceable asset. So, considering all these unique factors, that irreplaceable natural asset, the historical weight, the existing foundation, and the immense future possibilities, what kind of vision is truly needed for the next chapter of a place like this?
That's the big question, isn't it? And what does it really mean to take on the role of its next caretaker? It's more than just buying property.
Definitely something to think about.